It's just that place.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah. So I consider myself Hispanic, but not Latino.
Gotcha. Okay.
What about you? How about your highs and lows?
So, what should I start with? Should I start with my... Okay, I'll start with my highs.
Do a sandwich. Do a high-low high.
That's good.
I could do that.
Do you have enough highs to make a sandwich?
Yeah, I don't
know.
Highs. I think getting back my midterms, I was pretty happy with in both torts and crim law.
Did you get the Cali?
The Cali.
The Cali award for like top in the class.
I'd say in my crim law, I got like he basically gave like a bunch of like different groupings, and I was in the very top grouping, so I was pretty happy about
job.
that.
I
So
was not in the top grouping. I'm still not in the top grouping.
So lows. I mean, if Hannah were here, I would say it was like meeting her, but she's not here to defend herself. Just kidding, Hannah.
No, he's not.
So maybe the low, another low would probably, or a low. I should
Another low.
A low would probably be the lawyering skills courses, especially this last semester, took so much time and energy for only 2 credits.
That's the worst.
That it was kind of taxing on like, because I also work a full-time job that's very demanding, and so it was just kind of a lot. If like I could just have classes like torts and crim law where it's like there's a midterm and a final, I think it would all be great, which is kind of why I'm looking forward to next fall, because both my classes are kind of like that.
Doctrinal.
Yeah.
See, that's what just grinds me. It's just like you do all this work for no credit, pretty much.
Yeah,
and then trying to get through it positively, like, oh, I can write this 20-page brief for 1 credit. It's fine.
Yeah, and I can't, there were some people in my class who would like write the entire paper like the day before. I'm like, how do you do
who does that?
Who does a 15-page paper the day before?
I always try to do that and it never works out for me.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten really close to trying that.
I did that. So for my appellate section, we had to do a partial brief, and I did it the night before because they pissed me off. And I was like, screw it. That was the last thing on my plate. And then I submitted it, and they're like, we could tell it's very well proofread, but it's just lacking in some like the substantive stuff. I was like, do you even care about my paper? You're not even reading it because I know there's a whole bunch of mistakes. Good proofreading.
Yeah, in my learning skills 2 class, there was this guy. I was meeting with the professor the day before just to make sure that all of my arguments were crisp and that everything went well. And so it was the day before we had to turn in our paper. We had to turn in like 8 a.m. the next morning. This guy was there waiting. It was, it's 5 p.m. We're going to talk to the professor. Most people are like just like tightening up their arguments and stuff, but he's like, he hadn't even started on it.
Yikes! Why would you admit that?
And he's like, yeah, I'll just do it the night before. I'm like, oh my
all
god,
night. I cannot stay up all night. I just go to bed.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
I've done it a couple of times.
Were you crunch the paper at the last minute?
Where I had an all-nighter, and it wasn't even necessarily crunching the paper at the last minute. It was just like, I've been working on this, but this needs like more time.
I have not pulled an all-nighter yet in law school.
I have.
I haven't either. Maybe it's because we're part-time. I don't know.
Yeah, I stayed up till like 3 or 4 in the morning, but I haven't like fully gone like to work the next day again without going back to sleep.
See, I think that's different like when you're working, because the couple of times that I've pulled an all-nighter, it's like, okay, maybe I have a class the next day or something, or I have to work a couple of hours. And then
you just kind of have your arm on your head during class and hope you don't get called on, stuff like that.
Yeah, and the problem is when I don't get enough sleep, I get like just super emotional. So like if I pull it all nighter the next day
during class.
Well, Jack will be like, my partner Jack will be like, oh, like, why did you leave your shoes out in the middle of the floor? And I'm like, oh my God, you hate me. Why would you say that to me? It's very
So any kind of cold call will just kill you.
Dead on.
I don't know. I don't know.
And so have you felt that your 2L has been better than your 1L?
I think that 2L has been a little more my speed than 1L.
Okay.
Because I had a lot of classes that were less doctrinal and more about application and like having real clients and sort of seeing how the law moves in the real world. And I talked about my moot court, so getting to actually write a brief and getting to choose my courses as opposed to sort of being told what I get to do works better for me. And I'm not a sit down and take an exam and like show my best work person. So having the opportunity to sort of learn in a different way and to get credit in a different way really worked for me. And I would say I was definitely more busy this year, and I've slept less and worked more, but it was a better type of work, and it was less grinding and less exhausting and kind of more enthralling, I guess.
I think I felt the same way. Or I mean, like, I think my workload has been pretty even, maybe a little bit more this year. Another high, though, I remembered is for property. I got cold called.
No going back. Come on.
Go back.
What?
Okay, no, give us your high.
Yeah, give us your high.
Oh, yeah, this is my high because I have to have another high to make my sandwich. I got cold called about a case that I had no idea what it was about, but I overheard one of my classmates talking about it in passing. It was about this. It was a property case about this house that was haunted.
Oh, I love
Yeah, I forgot the case. I forgot what it was called. But basically, all I heard was there was a ghost in the house, and then he left. So the professor called me because I was texting on my phone. They're like, "Anthony, why don't you tell us about this case?" And I made up the entire thing, and it was right.
Wow.
And they were caught off guard. I was like, I didn't read the case. But they thought that I read it, so I was like, woo.
You were possessed by the
I
ghost
was
of
Yeah,
that
the ghost
house.
possessed
I was
you.
possessed by it, and I gave the right analysis with
And
the right
they-
laws.
Didn't stick to you after that. They like moved on.
They moved on. They
That's
were like,
good.
all right, move on to the next person. And
What would you have done if you didn't overhear those people? Would you have just said, I don't know?
Well, yeah, I probably would have just said I don't know, but I don't know. All I heard was ghost, and I made and I made the leap. The problems I get were like sometimes where I speed read through cases and I don't read the dissent, where the dissent is like the major opinion, basically. Like that's where everyone kind of gets their principles from, and you don't analyze it or talk about it all. So you just stay like, well, this is what the majority opinion said. And they're like, well, what about the dissent, which is really what's in question here? Like, nah, I didn't read it. Oops. Even though it's Scalia writing it, whatever.
Ugh.
Yeah, you see Scalia, you're just like, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you see Scalia, it's like
Obviously.
another 20 pages.
Yeah.
Great.
And it's just like berating all of the other
Exactly.
justices for being so dumb.
Yeah.
Well, clearly the judges were on crack because I can't believe anybody else who would ever think
Yeah, I can't
different
believe-
than me.
You know what I like? But I do like reading opinions from judges who are like, who like quip about a lot of different things.
Snarky
Like,
judge.
yeah, very snarky. I love the snarky judges. Where we had this case today about a CI, so an informant of the government, who decided that he didn't want to really be an informant anymore, and he had all these connections with drug people, so he's going to sell drugs instead. And so the
I respect that.
so the judge is just like, well, he apparently decided not to tell the DEA about this. And so she was just snarky through the entire thing. It was pretty good.
You get some entertaining ones every now and then, which is nice.
Yeah.
Keeps
That
the reading
ghost
lively.
case, you should go back to that because it's
I don't
just
know.
a bunch of
What is
ghost
that?
puns.
Ghost
Because
case.
I've not had that case and I'm in property.
What's the case about?
Well,
Or was it in contract?
no, well, there is
maybe?
one in contract.
Okay.
They kind of tie hand in hand. It was a property case where, whether or not, if it wasn't disclosed in like this, in some property deed or whatever,
Oh, like in the deed.
and it was basically,
You should have warned me.
yeah.
I didn't know what I was.
I can't do it off the top of my head. Now that you cold called me, I'm not going to be able to do anything.
It was just like a bunch of puns about like specters and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds
This
beautiful.
is a specter of a case, something like this.
I don't
Oh,
think
so
I
it
had
starts
to
with an
see
R,
it.
doesn't it?
So the judge was really snarky as well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I like the puns that they make as well.
Gosh.
I think it's like,
They're the worst, but I do appreciate them.
So basically, the main holding is the seller who has undertaken to inform the public at large about the existence of poltergeists on the premises to be sold was estoppel to deny existence of poltergeists on the premises, so the house was haunted as a matter of law, and the seller must inform the purchaser of the haunting. So
Haunted
the
as a
purchaser
matter of
was
law.
not from the state of New York, so even though that the house was advertised as haunted to the public, they weren't aware of the advertisements, obviously.
Why should you have to announce that or do anything like that? That's
They probably thought it would,
ridiculous.
like, I know there are totally people who'd be like, oh, it's haunted. Now I want it more. But then they came across one person who wanted it less, and then they lied about their entire story about the house that they were selling. You're selling a story. It doesn't matter about what you're...
All right, listen to this. More to the point, however, no divination is required to conclude that it is blah, 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 whatever. But yeah, I need to...
They have some good language in there.
Yeah, I'm looking for puns.
You're looking for puns in the opinion.
It's
I
okay.
like your socks.
Wait a minute. Okay. It says plaintiff hasn't a ghost of a chance.
Uh.
I am nevertheless moved by the spirit of equity.
Oh.
It's so good.
Who was the judge writing that one? Or the justice?
I can't go back up because I'm going to lose my spot.
Oh yeah, no worries.
But he also quotes Hamlet, so that's really cool.
Okay.
So they also quote the Ghostbusters theme.
Oh, good.
Yeah. A very practical problem arises with respect to discovery of a paranormal phenomenon. Who are you going to call? As a titled song to the movie Ghostbusters asked.
Oh my God. They had to say it like that.
They totally
They could have
ruined it that
just
way,
left
too.
it at who are you going to call and then moved on.
Nope, you got to kill
You
it.
gotta cite
gotta
it, I guess.
really
You had to
kill
cite-
the
you had to
really-
cite
I guess
where-
it would
yeah.
be plagiarism.
Yeah, I mean, you
perhaps.
got to cite your source.
It pretends that the prudent attorney will establish an escrow account, lest the subject of the transaction come back to haunt him and his client.
Oh.
All right, I'll stop. I'm sorry. If
That
there's
is pretty good, though.
Yeah, this is a great case. I'm sad that you didn't read it when you had the chance.
Thank you for listening to the Cold Call Lawcast. You can find us online at Cold Call Lawcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Ask us any question you like and we'll answer it on our next episode. We'll see you next time.
Tango Mango, Jennings Cruz for president.
Yeah. I could get behind that.
Yay, he's so cute. He'd give so many licks to everyone.
Yes, bark, I'm a dog.
If dogs can be mayor, what's stopping a dog from becoming president?
Oh, rest
In dog
peace.
years, it's old enough.
Right? Yeah, that's the problem.
Good point.
He's too young. He doesn't have
the.
the world experience.
Yeah, he can't. He is not 100% peeing outside, so maybe president is a little out of his range.
Small little Minnesota town.
And if I was related to Ted Cruz, I don't know what I would do.
Pretend not to be.
Just extract my Ted Cruz DNA.
You would bitch him out at the next family barbecue.
Yeah. Ted, come here. I got something to say to you. Poison the potatoes.
We're
Oh,
forgetting.
geez.
Just to give him like a little food poisoning.
a little?
Little food
Oh.
I think that's a
poisoning.
good idea.
I think that's an
Little
all or nothing
poisoning.
thing. Like
And
you
then
only
like
shit
get a
your
picture of
pants
him
so
like
much.
with his pants pooped.
That would destroy his entire career.
When he won, my girlfriend and I talked about farting in a jar and sending it to him. Mail.
Let's talk about when you're
That's
at
like
the
a
dinner
threat.
table.
It was not at the dinner table.
Okay.
Maybe it was over dessert.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
right.
know.
That would be weird. But
God,
That's what
I don't
dinner's
know.
for.
I don't know why he incites my ire.
Well,
so
you know
much.
that just some
Gross.
security person who has to open his mail is just going to open that and be like, "I hate my job."
Some security person is going to be putting a red flag on you right now for making a threat against a public official.
Okay, I'm making the threat of a fart.
Sending a fart in
I
a
don't know. It
jar.
depends on how deadly your farts are.
No, you're going to poison him with potatoes. So
No, I just meant like food poisoning. I promise. NSA.
Like a light shart.
I was
not-
just
not
kidding.
full
Just
blown.
kidding.
I'm telling the NSA agent that monitors my cell phone that I was kidding.
All right.
Okay?
I
I'm
think
kidding.
we're good then.
Yeah, good.